Hey everybody, welcome to Thursday night training here at Your Trading Day. Appreciate you guys stopping by tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about arrows. That's right, our trading arrows and how we use them for our advantage. Okay, I'm recording this as we record all of our trainings. So, without further ado, let's get right into things. Arrows, arrows, arrows. So it doesn't matter to us why these arrows appear. Okay, it's really not important why they appear. But I do want to show you not so much the calculation of why they appear, but I want to point out when they do appear. Okay. So let me take a snapshot of this right here. We'll blow it up so you can see it really good. Let me turn Bruce off here. There we go. So let me get rid of some of the stuff that we just don't need on here. I like a nice clean chart as I discuss things. Okay. So the question is, when does an arrow appear? So right here, we have a blue dash line. And the reason why we have that blue dash line is because a blue arrow appeared. So this blue dash line, which we will talk about in a few minutes, will follow the bars up. Okay? They will follow the bars up. Once the blue dashed line is breached by a bar, so here is the blue dashed line, right? And here is a bar that finished underneath it, creating this, whoops, hold on a second. Let's try that again. Creating this arrow. Okay? So, when the blue dash line gets penetrated and a bar completes on the other side of it, a red arrow will pop up. If it's a red dash line that gets penetrated, going in the opposite direction, a blue arrow will pop up. That's how they're formed. Why are they formed? What are the calculations? I don't need to know that. Neither do you, actually. All right? You just need to know that they do appear. Now, we don't use the arrows by themselves. However, there are situations when not a bad idea to use the arrow by itself. Okay, and I'm going to point out some scenarios to you. This is, first of all, this is gold, and let me take a snapshot of this. I think it's just easier to explain things if I can draw. And we'll go to 200 amplification. Is that a word? Amplification. So let's point out some things that are on this chart that you need to know. Okay? So we're in a downward trend, first of all. Okay? We are in a downward trend. The 50 moving average, which is the dark purple line, needs to be under the purple dots, which is the 200 moving average. Okay? That's number one. In a downward trend, if we're going to trade, the 50 moving average has to be under the 200 moving average. Okay? Next thing we need is we need the bars to be under the 50 moving average. Okay? And when we have those planets lined up, then it's okay to trade. It's okay to look for that sell trade in this situation since we are in a downward trend. So right here we had a blue arrow, right? Blue arrow. And the blue dashed lines right in here, right, got breached by this candle. Okay, and when that happened, we received a red arrow. Okay, telling us, yeah, go ahead and sell it. Go ahead and sell this. So we had the opportunity to sell gold right in at this level right here, right? And from there, gold went down nicely. Okay? And we can do some things here with the trade. We can use the bars as stop losses. So one tick above each bar is a stop loss. So our stop loss would go one tick above this bar. And then once the next bar got completed, it would go one tick above that bar. And you could follow this down until eventually you would get enough of a wick. Whoops, hold on. Enough of a wick to stop you out. So that's one way of getting, following your trade with, an arrow trade with the bars and everything to get profit out of this. But eventually a wick will happen and you'll get stopped out. To be a little more aggressive for a longer term trade, okay, you can place your stop loss 2 to 4 ticks above the red dashes. And as it falls, you keep on moving your stop loss with it. About 4 ticks above it, you just keep on moving it down. Every time a new candle gets formed, that will give you longer runners. Okay? That will give you longer runners when that happens. Let's look at this next trade here. So again, the 50 moving average needs to be under the 200 moving average. It is. Okay? The bars need to be under the 50 moving average. They are. Okay? Now, we had a run to the south side. We had a retracement up. We love that. And we're looking for the next red arrow. Okay? Red arrow comes up. We enter the trade. Boomala, baby, all the way down. We would have rode this down until these wicks here, or a little bit farther down if we would have used the red dashes as our stop loss. Not a bad way to trade at all. There's actually another one right here. Red arrow into the trade. Okay, this would have been probably a very short-term trade, maybe 10 ticks, something like that. So if you're in a downward trend, let me repeat it. When you're in a downward trend, you want your 50 to be under your 200 moving average. Okay? You want the bars to be under the 50 moving average. That gives you the okay to sell. Then all you're doing is waiting for that red arrow and you can enter the trade. Okay? This is for arrow trading. Now, you guys know when we trade live in the room, there's a few more things we do. But if you were just arrow trading, this is what you would do. So let me point out just some other charts, some other possible trading scenarios. This is the YM. Okay, this is the YM. Downward trend. Downward trend. The 50 moving average is under the 200 moving average. And the bars are under the 50 moving average. So all we're doing is waiting for a red arrow. Okay? Perfect scenario right here. We have a red arrow that showed up right when the bars were cutting back through the 50 moving average. And then all you got to say is, see you later, Loretta. We had a retracement up. That's fine. We like retracements. Waiting on the next, waiting on the next red arrow. Enter the trade. Southbound we go. Right? You even had another one right here. Another red arrow. And a smaller trade right here. Nice trades. We like to catch the first wave of a downhill slope. Second wave is always good. Third wave is kind of unpredictable. It could be really good, could be shorter, the third wave. And what am I talking about waves real quick? So when you get a move, right? You have waves. This is wave 1. Okay, coming down. This is wave 2. And usually you're going to have at least 3 waves. It's very normal. Wave 3 down here. Very normal. 3 waves. Very normal. Okay, let's look at another chart. Let's look at, I don't know if oil is going to give us something that we can look at or not. There's actually something pretty good right here. Let's take a look at oil. I think this was today. Yeah, this was today. I actually caught this trade this morning, which was very cool. It's a very good trade. So let me point some things out. The 50 moving average is under the 200 moving average. The bars are under the 50 moving average. We received an arrow up here, okay? And the bars are under the 200 moving average, breaking through, enter the trade. This would have been a doozy of a trade. We might have got stopped out here, depending on where your stop loss was. Still a very good trade, right? This was oil this morning. That was very nice. Very nice. All right, I want to try to catch, here we go. This is the NASDAQ. Now, this was kind of a bumpy ride, okay? The NASDAQ today was kind of a bumpy ride, right? Let me take a snapshot of this so I can draw. You know I like my drawings. We'll do this here. We'll go only 100 on this, maybe 150%. Hold on, I'm trying to blow it up so you can see it better. All right. So this was kind of a bumpy ride. Here we have the 50 moving average above the 200, right? Okay, so we're looking for buying opportunities. Down here we had a blue arrow with a little ride upward. Okay, you would have got 10 to 12 ticks. Small move. Retracement down, looking for another blue arrow. We got one. Would have rode this up a little bit. Retracement back down. Blue arrow. Again, a little bit better move up. Retracement back down. This happened all day today. Here we had a blue arrow, and we would have actually taken a loss on this trade. Believe it or not, taking a loss on that trade right there. Got another blue arrow here, which was a winner. Whoa, what was that? That was weird. Winner, retracement down, and then a really nice move to the north. Really nice move to the north. Okay? What I want you to do is I really want you to come into the live trading room and trade the quad system and arrow system with me live. There's nothing like learning it live. You can see it in action in a live market. So I really want you to dial in to our live trading rooms every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and let's trade together so I can answer your questions in real time. I can show you these arrow trades along with our quad trades. All right? Listen, I appreciate you stopping by, watching this short video on arrow trading.